May the words of my mouth and the meditation of all our hearts be always acceptable to you, O Lord, our strength, our courage, and our freedom. Amen. We are running out of Advent. The season that began a few short weeks ago with O come, Emmanuel, and the lighting of that first candle on the Advent wreath is drawing to a close. The Christmas cards are sent, mostly. The packages are wrapped, well, some of them. And this evening, as we see around us the beginnings of the halls decked with boughs of holly, we gather for this ancient service of evensong in the glow of the fourth and final Advent candle. For liturgical Christians, the candles on the Advent wreath are part of the ritual of preparation of the coming of the light of God's love into the world in the person of Jesus, the refugee baby born in a manger because there was no room anywhere else for his marginalized family. This Advent, those sparks of light on the wreath had a particular poignancy as the darkness of the violence, extremism, hatred, xenophobia, polarization, and bigotry that has too long dominated our national discourse has escalated exponentially in these last tumultuous weeks and months. The darkness is real. And as Martin Luther King Jr. famously said, darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Only light can do that. And so in the bleakness of this Advent, the season Catholic Jeffrey Shorey named as the time when Christians are called to have more hope than the rest of the world thinks is reasonable, our hope has been made manifest in these candles on this wreath, in our prayers prayed, in our lessons read, and in our songs sung. And tonight we gather once again in this place of light and love and beauty and music to hit the pause button for just a few precious moments on the chaos, on the challenges, and on the controversy in our nation and in our world. We gather to remember what theologian and mystic Howard Thurman wrote about these candles. They are candles of joy despite all sadness. They are candles of hope where despair keeps watch. They are candles of courage for fears ever present. They are candles of peace for tempest-tossed days. They are candles of grace to ease heavy burdens. They are candles of love to inspire all our living. They are the candles we light as outward and visible signs of the light we are called to shine in the world, the light we claim as followers of that refugee baby born in that manger who grew up to be Jesus, the radical rabbi from Nazareth, the incarnation of the Christmas promise that is indeed the reason for the season. What has come into being in Jesus was life, and the life was the light of all people, and the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness did not overcome it. And we light them to empower ourselves and each other to go out into the world as beacons of that light, love, justice, and compassion whenever and wherever we can. My favorite story to illustrate how that works is one by Robert Fulghum of Everything I Ever Needed to Know I Learned in Kindergarten fame. It's a story I've told before, but I believe it bears retelling. It's the story about a Greek philosophy professor whose custom was to end each lecture by asking the class, "Are there any questions?" One day, a student feeling rather full of himself said, "Yes, I have a question. What is the meaning of life?" The professor replied, "I will answer your question," and he pulled a small pocket mirror out of his pocket and told this story. When I was a small child living during the war, we were very poor and we lived in a remote village. One day on the road, I found the broken pieces of a mirror a German motorcycle had been wrecked in that place. I tried to find all the pieces and put it back together, but it was not possible, so I kept only the largest piece. I began to play with it as a toy. I became fascinated by the fact that I could reflect light into dark places where the sun would never shine, in deep holes and crevices and dark closets. It became a game for me to get light into the most inaccessible places I could find. As I became a man, I grew to understand that this was not just a child's game, but a metaphor for what I might do with my life. I came to understand that I am not the light. I'm not even the source of the light. But light, truth, understanding, knowledge, and love is there. And it will only shine in many dark places if I reflect it. I am a fragment of a mirror whose whole design and shape I do not know. Nevertheless, with what I have, I can reflect light into the dark places of this world and change some things in some people. Perhaps others may see and do likewise. This is what I am about. This is the meaning of my life. This morning, as we had the privilege here at All Saints Church to listen to the courageous witness of Adi Barkan in the Rector's Forum, I recognized that we were on holy ground, as holy as any ground I've experienced in my over 18 years at All Saints Church. And there's a lot of water under the Holy Ground Bridge in this place. Diagnosed in 2016 with a debilitating disease, ALS, Adi Barkan has continued to use what he has to advocate for democracy in general and health care for all in particular. The paradox of my situation, he says, is that as my voice has gotten weaker, more people have heard my message. As I lost the ability to walk, more people have followed in my footsteps. The light he continues to reflect against all odds into the dark places of this world with what he has is indeed inspiring others to see and do likewise. Through his Be a Hero pack and his continued activism in spite of this horrible disease that is literally killing him an inch at a time. Nevertheless, he persists. And following in his footsteps, so do we. We are running out of Advent. Let us savor every last minute of this time of preparation. Let us soak up the light, love, beauty, and music this evening as we gather to pause in the struggle and to remind ourselves and each other of the power of the Christmas promise we prepare to celebrate. Come, O Christ, and dwell among us. Hear our cries. Come, set us free. Give us hope and faith and gladness. Show us what there yet can be. Set us free to be the change you call us to be. Set us free to live your love. Set us free to be your justice. Set us free to use what we have to reflect light into the dark places of this world. Set us free to journey into the adventure of God's future, this Advent and always. Amen.